How's it going, everyone? I've been thinking about something for a couple of weeks now. It's kind of been going over it in my mind, and it led me to want to ask a question to everyone out there. What are your default settings? Now, for some of you all who don't know, your default settings, they normally come in any form of technology. So our computer has them, our cell phone has them, as well as our laptops, TVs. Normally what it is, they're also known as factory presets. It's a preset setting that is designed to help the technology, the device, the application, because they're in applications as well, run smoother. For example, when you first download YouTube, there's a default setting for the next video to automatically play. And you can change the default setting so that the video doesn't automatically play after you watch one. Another example would be, if you all notice, when you buy things online using your phone, once you scroll through and do it once, your phone will save your name, your address, maybe your credit card number, once it notices that you do it enough times. And what happens is it'll recognize that you're about to purchase something and automatically fill it out for you. That's a default setting. But sometimes, for example, let's say I've done this before, I want to buy something on a different credit card. So I'll have to go in and change the default settings. A lot of people may not notice, you can adjust the brightness on your TV. Your TV comes with a default setting. You can adjust it going into the settings and say, I need to turn down the brightness, turn up the toner, it depends. Another example is your cell phone ringtone. The iPhone standard ringtone or the Galaxy standard ringtone, that's a default setting. But you can go into the settings and change it. The reason I ask what are your default settings is because you have default settings and you don't even know it. For example, what do you do when you get sad? What does your mind automatically go to? Whether it be a thought or automatic behavior that it tells you to do. And the reason I ask is because some of us, myself included, we have to adjust our default settings. The past couple of weeks, I'll say, I have been challenged at work and challenged in life. And right on time, I know I'm not the only person who experienced this. It always seems super convenient that your life is colliding all at one point. It's just like, man, what the hell is going on? I can't get it right at work. I'm sucking at life. What is going on? And the minute I get sad or the minute I get upset, my default setting was to go to death or how terrible of a person I am. So anytime I would get sad or anytime I would get upset, my default setting, the thought that my mind automatically went to was, you suck. And you don't suck like kinda terrible, like you are complete trash and you probably should just kill yourself, but nah, don't worry about it. But you still suck. I mean, I don't want you to kill yourself, but you still suck. And this is a thought that rings in my mind. It could be twice a day, it could be once a day. But over a course of time, this is my default setting, that every time I get upset, my mind automatically goes to how terrible and how trash of a person that I am. What's your default setting? And it may not be when you're sad, because we have default settings when we're happy. What is your default setting to celebrate? For a lot of times, for some of us, it's to have a drink or it's to buy ourselves something. So it's not always a bad thing. But I ask, what is your default settings when you get upset? Is your default setting when you get upset in your relationship to berate your partner, to insult them, to tell them how terrible they are, how you're carrying the relationship? Is that right? Is that fair to them? What's your default setting when you get upset with your friends? Is it to cut them off? Is it to bring up everything that you've done for them and how you've been carrying the friendship? Is it to bring up things from the past from 2 years ago that you really should have resolved back then, but you just let it fester and now it boiled over into this? What is your default setting when you get upset with yourself? How hard on yourself are you? What's your default setting when you don't feel attractive? Do you call yourself ugly? Do you tell yourself nobody's ever gonna like you? What is that? What is your default setting? And the reason that I bring it up is because just like with your technology, your TV, your cell phone, your laptop, you can change your default setting. Your default setting when you get sad or when you're disappointed doesn't have to be that you're a terrible person. Your default setting when you're upset at your partner doesn't have to be to attack them. Your default setting when you get upset at your friends doesn't have to be to bring up things from the past. Please adjust your default settings. And you ask, wow, okay, that makes sense, but how do I do that? It starts with transforming your mind. When I get upset, here recently, when I've gotten upset and I'm sad and I think to myself, wow, I'm trash. Nope. You know what? No. Instantly I realize, you know what? I need to reset my default settings. I'm not trash, or not even not. I'm progressing. I'm far from perfect, but every day I just want to be better. I may mess it up today, but that doesn't mean I'm always going to mess it up. Your default setting when you get upset with your partner, again, how do you change it? Transform your mind. When you're upset with your partner and you feel yourself wanting to go to berating them, take a step back and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to berate them because I wouldn't want them to berate me. I'm going to tell them that I'm upset. This is why I'm upset, and I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to hear them out. I'm going to bridge the gap in the miscommunication or the misunderstanding. I'm not going to berate this person because this is my partner. We're in this together, and if I'm always berating them, how does that build up our relationship? How does that build up our confidence? What is your default setting when you get upset with your friends? Again, if you want to change it, transform your mind. When you want to bring up something from the past, let your friend know. You did this and it really hurt me. I was disappointed. This is how it made me feel. It may not have been your intention to do that, but I'm letting you know that this is how I felt about it, and it reminded me of this past behavior. And I'm asking you and informing you, please, how can we move past this? Please adjust your default settings. And I know it's easier said than done, because just like sometimes you may change the brightness on your computer and you go back and check and you're like, dang, why is my computer so bright? And you think and realize it's default for a reason. So it's factory installed. Your computer might have just defaulted back to the brightness. So sometimes you, in your mind, you might default back to wanting to berate your friend or berate your partner or berate and belittle yourself. But you can move past that. You can adjust your default settings, and it starts with transforming your mind. Again, when you feel those feelings coming on, when you feel those thoughts coming, change them. I'm worth something. I'm special. I may not be perfect, but I'm progressing. I love my partner. I love them. I'm not going to berate them. I'm going to build with them. I love my friend. We've been through too much together for me to insult them. I'm going to change my default settings. So again, I ask you, what are your default settings? And if it's something that you're not happy with, you can change them. Please be mindful of your default settings and transform your mind and change them if you have to. Thank you.